Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of KTAL News Now. I'm your host Anthony Mocklin, and today is Tech Tuesday, where we'll be covering a variety of different news in technology, space, and other entertainment. Our first topic of the day involves Ascentech, which they are implementing a brand new $50 million investment to expand their facility. The construction is expected to take 18 months to 2 years to complete. Ascentech is a fluid and lubricant tech company. They were formerly known as Lube Tech, and the project both directly and indirectly create over almost 350 new jobs for the region of Northwest Louisiana, which is awesome for the industry and our region. And in that same breath, the company General Dynamics, under the General Dynamics Information Technology, is also expanding their facilities, or what's known as their integrated technology centers, and that one will be focused on specifically cybersecurity, which is a growing concern in an ever-evolving and increasing digital world that we live in. And they have had a partnership with Louisiana for a while now, and that partnership has resulted in over 1,000 jobs being created, many of whom are veterans, as a good chunk of their workforce comes from the Barksdale Air Force Base, and their working force right now features over almost 30% former military employees, which is really awesome. They have made partnerships with Louisiana Tech, Bossier Parish Community College, as well as Northwestern State University, Grambling State University, and LSU Shreveport. So they're very prevalent in the area, very familiar with it, so it's really awesome to see them taking an interest in specifically cybersecurity and enhancing that in the region. And tech in this region has been growing exponentially. It's becoming almost a beacon for the tech industry, which is really great for not only the growth of our region economically, but also creating jobs for people that will hopefully continue to work in tech. And if you are in the market for a job in tech, I hear that Astronomer is looking out for a new CEO after their CEO was caught having an affair at a Coldplay concert outside of Boston. They were spotted on he was with his HR manager of the company, and they were spotted on the kiss cam kind of in each other's arms. And then I'm sure you've seen the clip by now. It's been everywhere on social media. It's made national headlines. So it's been a pretty rough fallout for them specifically. Due to that, they've had to do a lot of damage control with that, and it's just a PR nightmare right now for them. But I was curious because I had never even heard of this company before, Astronomer. So I was curious, so I looked into it, and they are actually a New York-based AI data operations company that is apparently worth around like $1.3 billion, which it's news to me. I did not know that they were that big of a company. But their clients include like Apple, Uber, LinkedIn, Ford, and their investment backers include Bain Capital as well as JP Morgan. So it seems like they're a pretty legit company, which again is news to me. I had never even heard of them before, but now they're essentially a household name. And the interim CEO he's trying to do that damage control like I was saying, but he also welcomes this newfound attention on them that they've been getting because, like I said, they are making national headlines. It's pretty hard to miss the viral clip of them at the concert, and it just gets people talking. So he said he's pretty much over the moon about the newfound attention that the company's been getting. And speaking of moons and also astronomy, Jupiter's moon of Europa, which scientists have previously thought to have this outer frozen shell around it, might not actually be the case underneath. Like they thought it would just be this still stable shell that where not a lot of activity would happen, but they have recently found that there are these chaos regions underneath that icy shell, which has revealed a lot about what could be potentially underneath, because in these chaos terrains, as they call them, is where these ice blocks form that have been broken off, kind of drift to a different place, and then get refrozen in that area. So it creates that terrain, which was originally not there. So it's really interesting to see the way that ice, specifically on Europa, with all of its radiation, reacts and forms, because it is not like the ice on Earth. Like I said, Europa has this very intense radiation, so it disrupts the structure of the ice that forms on Europa, and that is what's known as amorphous ice, which is this disordered, non-crystalline structure, not like the one we are used to on Earth, because the ice on Earth is very uniform. It's usually very crystallized. It has a very specific form that takes place on Earth's ice, whereas the radiation from Jupiter and its moon it just pretty much does whatever it wants almost. It's very disorganized. It's not in a uniform way at all. And this actually points towards evidence of there being a hidden liquid ocean underneath the ice shell around the moon, which would be crazy if that is actually ends up being true, because then scientists can kind of see, how habitable this moon actually is in terms of future scientific discoveries and advancements. And the chaos regions that I was talking about before, there's so much that's going on. So scientists have theorized that the chaos regions are pushing material up from underneath the shell rather than the materials forming from outside objects like meteorites. So it has a lot of evidence suggesting that there is that ocean underneath that is pushing up materials to the surface and then freezing them as they get displaced. So it's really interesting to see. NASA has actually launched what's known as the Europa Clipper mission. They launched that in October of 2024. It's pretty much they're sending a probe out to Jupiter to explore Europa specifically, and they're really curious to see if Europa has these ingredients that would be conducive of life and habitable for life. And it would be like, I'm pretty sure the journey is around 1.8 million miles away. I mean, just to give you an idea of how far it would have to travel to make that observation and conduct those studies of it. It's not expected to reach Jupiter's system in orbit until April of 2030. So we still have a while to go, but I'm really interested to see what they end up finding from that, because as you know, if you've seen previous episodes of Tech Tuesday on KTAL News Now, I love space and I love talking about the potential discoveries that can be made in it. I mean, this universe is so large and vast, and I don't think we'll ever. I mean, we still haven't discovered more than 20% of our oceans here on Earth, and in the grand scheme of things, in the Milky Way galaxy, we've only actually studied or observed around 1% of it. So, and that's just one galaxy out of millions and billions of galaxies in the universe. So it just gives you a perspective of just how large it is and just how far apart everything is, because space is ever expanding. And 10 years from now, something might not be the same distance between it as it was before, because of just the continuous expansion and growth of space. It just keeps stretching, and things just keep getting farther away and flying away. So it's really interesting to see that we could potentially make some new discoveries on a moon outside of our biggest planet in our solar system. So, and especially if there is water and other specific elements that we share with Earth. because then it would pose that question of, can life inhabit here? Are there life forms underneath that surface that are swimming around in that ocean? We don't know, and it will hopefully give us a better idea and a sort of window into if that even is possible on that moon. But in video game news, Donkey Kong Bananza just released on July 17th. It's Nintendo's latest first-party game. It is a 3D platformer to the tune of the traditional Mario Odyssey, Mario 64, Mario Galaxy, those 3D Mario games. It was actually made by the same developers of Mario Odyssey, and you can tell based on the style and the UI and the mechanics of the game. It takes place where you're Donkey Kong and you start off in this mine, and you quickly discover that almost everything around you is fully destructible, so you can kind of carve your own path while you're exploring the world around you and collecting all sorts of items. It's been hailed as one of the best 3D platformers ever made already, and did we honestly expect anything less from Nintendo? I mean, come on, they have never missed when it comes to their first-party games with Mario and Donkey Kong. Like they're always consistently putting out quality games at the expense. Like they're not expensing quality to try to lengthen a game story or add unnecessary AGLs, as I like to call it. It's what's known as artificial game lengtheners. So it's just stuff that can get pretty tedious at times whenever there's things like quick time events, where if there's a thing you have to press a button before a certain timer runs out, or if you've ever played the Batman Arkham games, there are tons of AGLs in those games, because whenever you're exploring the city of Gotham with Batman and you're going through like the sewer system, because you're very sneaky, detective-y, you're trying to like sneak around the enemies, you often have these sewer grates or air conditioning vents that you have to forcibly remove to keep going, and that can take an unnecessary amount of time. There's way too long of an animation for that instead of just kind of kicking it down, but you have to unscrew everything and then lightly place it down to not alert the enemies. So it's just, Nintendo doesn't mess around when it comes to that. They just get straight to the point. You get all the meat of the game. It's no fluff. Like it's worth your time 100%, especially with their older games. I mean, they're regarded as one of the best game developers of all time. In my opinion, they are the best when it comes to strictly making games. But as far as the business aspect goes, they have been known to be a little less user-friendly than I'd say most companies in recent years, due to their archaic practices almost when it comes to marketing and businesses and just user accessibility. But as far as making games themselves, they have such an amazing track record. I mean, you can't go wrong with any of their games if you're a fan of, whether you're a fan of Donkey Kong, Kirby, Mario, any of their flagship characters, Legend of Zelda. Like they are a staple when it comes to pop culture, even outside of games, because, I mean, you have the Mario movie that just got made and racked up over $1 billion at the box office. They just announced the casting of their Legend of Zelda live-action movie, where they cast Link and Zelda, which they cast these two relatively unknown actors that I had never heard of, but I'm interested to see how they do. I mean, this is a dream role for any up-and-coming actor, and it's interesting to see how they will mold their careers off of this and just the amount of opportunities they'll get in the future from this. Because, I mean, The Legend of Zelda, I'd say, is a pretty big first movie to have, like first blockbuster movie. I mean, that one is also, I'd say, guaranteed at least $1 billion, because, I mean, like I said, there's never been a Mario movie to this scale before, like animated, and especially with live action, because live action usually does tend to do better than animated movies. I mean, look at How to Train Your Dragon, for example. their recent movie was live action, and they are killing it at the box office. Audiences just love live action, especially when going to the movies and you're just in the theater with this big sound, big visuals. It's just, and then look at Disney too, because they were pretty much trying to do this cycle of live action remakes. I mean, Lilo and Stitch just crossed $1 billion, so it's definitely an industry trend that they're trying to translate over with these classic movies and just make trillions of dollars off of them, essentially, by just converting them to live action. Even if they do take a little bit of creative liberty when it comes to adapting them, because I know that the Lilo and Stitch movie did have some very questionable decisions when it comes to changing the plot and the relationship between the characters. But I digress. It's a very exciting time to be a Nintendo fan specifically, because, like I said, Donkey Kong Bonanza is being put up there with some of the greatest platformers ever made. I highly recommend you go check it out. It's a lot of fun. It's definitely going to hold you over, because the Nintendo Switch 2 library right now is not very large. It really only has Mario Kart World, which is also a blast, especially with friends. Highly recommend playing that, especially in a large gathering. They have up to 24 racers now, as opposed to the traditional 12. So it's been a lot of fun, and especially with Donkey Kong Bonanza it released 2 days before my birthday, so I was always really excited about that. And it was such a great birthday present. I've been having a lot of fun with it, so I highly recommend you check it out, and be sure to stay tuned with us on KTAL News Now for the remainder of the week. Tomorrow will be another edition of Wellness Wednesday, as well as looking forward to the weekend ahead on Thursday, and then a Friday edition of Feel Good Friday. So you won't want to miss that. You can also check us out on our YouTube page, where we have all of our previous episodes on KTAL News, and you can check us out on KTAL News Now every weekday, Monday through Friday at 1 p.m. Like I said, be sure to stick around with us. We have a very exciting shows in store for you for the remainder of this week. But for now, I'm Anthony Mocklin, and thank you for joining us.